You'll need this bit. Hello and welcome to the Halloween Extravaganza 3. My name's Anthony Cogan and tonight we're joined by Paranormal Adventures Ireland, Caoimhe and Shelley Garvey. We'll be talking to them about Wicklow Gaol, also Leb Castle this evening. If you have any questions, feel free to put them on a post. Also, if you're affiliated with any paranormal group or tourist attraction, feel free to name the group or the organisation and we'll give a shout out to you as well. You can also go to our red button on our website www.ghostera.net, press the red button on the Ghost Era channel and you can catch up on past shows there. So how are you doing, Caoimhe and Shelley? How are you doing?
Hiya, how are you?
Hello.
Good.
Oh, good, and happy Halloween to you all there. And I know you've been busy investigating and doing public events this past few month or so there. But can you tell us there, I'll start off with you, Caoimhe there. Can you tell us how you got interested in the paranormal investigating?
Well, in fairness, a lot of it was to do with my mum, because obviously since I was a kid, Jesus, we've lived in some very haunted places. And then on like my 10th birthday, I want to say, or my 7th birthday, we decided to have a Halloween party, and Mom decided to read out scary stories to all of the 7-year-olds and scare them so much that she had phone calls coming in for about 2 weeks, basically given out to her because none of the kids could sleep. So since then, I've just been in love with it.
It has to be done. It has to be scared of Jesus out of us. It has to be done as kids there. My dad did it anyway. That's what parents do. It's supposed to get us ready, you know. But Caoimhe, how did you get involved? So what got you the interest in? I mean, sorry, Shelley, what got you interested in the paranormal?
Oh, I was always fascinated. Just where we live in a historical town, so even growing up in my teens, it was all about the ghosts and the ghouls and the stories, and then you'd hear old stories from way back when, from Granny and Grandad, and it was just something I just always cracked about and reading books on it. And then obviously as time moved on, there was more, what would you say, more available to you and more locations, not so.
And
Continue following. I'd like mine.
And how did you both get involved with Paranormal Adventures Ireland?
Oh, well, in fairness, so we met Carlo, Amy and Joey in Loftus Hall doing a public event there, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years.
And we all just clicked on the night and were saying that they were planning on setting up a team and, you know, whatever. And we were like, telling them, go ahead with it, blah, blah, blah. And then we kept in contact. And about Jesus Christ, last year we were going to Leb Castle, like we had decided to do this event, and in all honesty we didn't realize until we were like going in the gates of Leb Castle, that it was them that was holding the event, and we were like, oh Jesus, like I haven't seen you in ages, blah blah blah. And about 2 months later, they asked us to be on the team, so we were delighted, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it's great. It's amazing how people meet each other, or group members that are in a group that finally meet up with team leaders or other groups, then actually find that bond, and then they actually get, we all come together, you know. So the first subject we're going to talk about is Wicklow Gaol. So this is a cool location there. Can you tell us, Caoimhe, a bit about the place?
Yeah, so in all honesty, it's more haunted than it was when we started doing it. It's gotten so active recently. It is phenomenal, but like the basement is crazy. It's literally the dungeons below. Crazy activity in it. It's the location.
Yeah.
And is it is it a vast place? Is it massive? Is it Wicklow Gaol?
Oh gosh, it's huge. Like, in all honesty, you could be in one part of the jail and you wouldn't hear people 2 rooms over at all. Like, it's crazy. You wouldn't think how big it is from the outside. You look at it and you're like, that's quite small, and then you go in and you're like, what?
And can you tell us, Caoimhe, there, have you seen a pattern over the years at the location? I mean, have you been there, or any investigations or public events? Have you seen a pattern there, as in activities, maybe to one person, or a specific type of activity that's been occurring?
We, in all honesty, from the start, it was our first nights. It wasn't as active as it was. It's like it's been building.
Yeah.
So like the last night that we were there, we had crazy activity, like to the point where we had different members of the public in different parts of the building, and everybody was experiencing something at the exact same time all over the building. It was crazy. So it's just built. It's literally just built with the activity wise.
And Shelley, have you noticed this as well? Like, you know, even with yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the last time that we did Wicklow Gaol, as Caoimhe said, everyone had broken up all around the jail itself. So nobody was talking to anybody. We had people in different cells, wherever they wanted to go. And Amy and I decided to take the main floor out in the main part of the jail. And we were standing there, and the next thing we just got, as though it's you talking to us, hello.
Oh, wow.
It literally echoed the main floor. Stairs lights started flashing on and off, which there's no power on this side of the jail itself. So I went to investigate there, and when I got to the very top flight, I realised that all the gates are locked. There's no way to get down to the cell where the lights were going on and off. But it was so active that night. And it's just seemed to progressively get more and more each investigation.
So the activities, but I suppose you know what's happening around, what people are feeling there. So can you tell us about your first time visiting there, Shelley? What was your first thoughts? Were you excited with Wicklow Gaol? Did you see it from the outside and think, oh, that's small, and then it was big in the inside?
Yeah. Oh, I'll never forget just seeing from the outside. Just stunning for a start, because it was dark when we arrived and the lights on, and it was like, oh, just let me in quick, you know. And then as soon as you walk in, there's not a feeling of, what would you say, Quiz? You wouldn't be apprehensive, but you'd be more curious and just know that it could be a quiet night, but even if it's slightly quiet night, you're still going to have a multitude thrown at you. It's just it's a fabulous place, you know. So and it's a place where I've two times been there, once for an investigation, and it's a feeling there, you know, that you don't feel too much apprehension, but you do feel like there's someone standing behind you. Absolutely,
you know?
yeah, it's always eyes on you, isn't there?
Yeah, it's true there. And so I suppose this goes back to the other question I'm going to say to you. I'll come with you first there, Quiver. There is there a particular area in the building where you would feel that you wouldn't want to be isolated in.
In all honesty, I learned my lesson the last time. So there's the cells that are downstairs off the main floor downstairs. And one of the team members, Joey, was going straight down to those cells. Like we had just had a load of activity in there, and then we had decided to split up. And after the amount of activity that had happened in there, I was like, I'm not letting you go alone. So I decided to go down there with them.
But that's not good, is it? That's what he says. That.
And one other person went with us, and Jesus Christ, the amount of like, it was just crazy. It was like something was there to make me cry. I ended up sobbing. Like it was just overwhelmed with emotions, and like he was looking at me like, what is going on? And I was like, I don't know what is going on, in all honesty, just me sobbing in one of the cells. Like, so after that I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna go down there by myself again. I'm staying away from there on my own.
was that down below, like in the dungeon area, solitary? Yeah, it's very active there. Like, and what about yourself there, Shelley? There, like, is there any that same place?
For me, no. For me, there's a cell on the lower level, and I'd been in it earlier one night and saw, what would you say, a shadow walking past the cell itself. So of course I had to go out to have a nosy, and there was nobody there. Everybody else was in other cells, and just checking with everyone in their cells. There's so I thought, right, sure, I'll go back in, and completely forgot myself and went back into the cell. And rather than sitting down as you normally do and calling out or whatever, I shut the cell door behind me. And all I heard was clink, and the latch on the outside of the door closed. So I locked myself in. So that was interesting. I can't say I was, actually, in all honesty, I was slightly petrified. Did the shadow that I'd walked past the cell door prior to this come back in with me when I'd locked myself in? And with everyone else in all the other cells, nobody could hear me calling. So I had to wait until that particular part was over to get out of the cell.
Oh God! I'm not going there with you. I'm only joking. But it's cool sort of experiencing that stuff there. Afterwards, it's great you can talk about it there. But at that time, it's like, oh, I don't know. So, what are the essential requirements there for people if they want to attend one of the public events with yourselves there, at Quiver there?
So no alcohol, no drugs, obviously, and basically it's very much have an open mind. You are able to use our equipment for whatever. Like, we will let you go off with our equipment. That is okay. Just be respectful to the buildings, be respectful to the ghosts, and have a good night, basically, and don't take yourself too seriously.
And decent shoes.
Oh, decent shoes.
Yeah.
And I think 10 mobile phones, just in case you get locked in a room. I mentioned that. So we've got to talk about the next subject now. So it's going to be, it's not Leb Castle, but it's a particular room in Leb Castle, which is the Bloody Chapel. So I'm just going to ask you there first, Quiver. There, can you tell us, how did the Bloody Chapel get its name?
So the Bloody Chapel has had a string of murders in it. We've heard of a priest being killed there, and then there's also an oubliette in it where people were thrown down, and there'd be wooden spikes at the bottom, and they would just be left, to the point of archaeologists had to go in and look at it and take skeletons out, even 10 years ago. Craziness, so it is definitely a bloody chapel.
And can you tell us you tell us there, Shelley, how many times have you investigated a place in total yourself?
It's definitely in double digits, Anthony.
Double
Definitely.
double digits.
Yeah.
99.
Pinpoint. Yeah.
Jesus, that's
Absolutely.
a lot.
Yeah.
And same with yourself.
Just,
And same with yourself there, Caoimhe?
Yeah, pretty much every night that goes on, I go on as well because she drives. So
on the chauffeur.
I think these. I got some photographs there, so I'm just going to show them there. I think these are from the castle, so I'm just going to show them. Can you see them yourself?
Yeah. Actually, you've got the good photo up with we caught something in that photo. If you look at the very bottom right corner.
Oh, like the far right.
Because we took two photos right beside each other. As we can see around the bottom right corner, it was a case of that wasn't there in the first photo at all. And they were taken 2 seconds apart, literally, not even 2 seconds apart.
And this is a photo as well. I think I don't know if you can see it there. I think it's from outside of the building. Is that up? This is the sort of banqueting hall with the balcony, is it, or is this the chapel?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the gallery room.
Again, like we were just felt like watching loads. Jesus,
there was actually no one in the castle when that photo was taken.
Well, yeah, it's amazing. Like you could be know what it. That's when I was there at Leather Castle. I think it was the last time there. We were up at the outside looking in, and we could sense that there was something up above there. When there was nobody else in the building, we were like looking up there. You could almost do an investigation by just looking at the bit outside of the building there.
Absolutely,
Can you tell us? Has it got? It's called one. Well, I suppose it's one of the castles, one of the most haunted castles in Ireland. Is it got that? Is it particularly justified that, Shelley?
I believe it is. Yeah, definitely, it does. It deserves its reputation as being hugely haunted. But at the same time, again, it's not a place where you'd feel apprehensive or you wouldn't at all. There are times where you'd be a little bit, oh, what was that? But the majority of the time, the majority of spirits that do generally reside in the castle are welcoming, and they just you coexist alongside them. As opposed to being scared of them or anything like that. And that's the way Sean and I live their lives.
It's great that they invite teams in there, and I know it's loads of places like there's not many places like that in Ireland. They only let it in certain teams there. But going back to Lead Castle, there is there any, like in the Bloody Chapel, there is any environmental issues within the Bloody Chapel that could explain for some of the sensations felt in there. So, like say, the windows open. Would that create a lot of environment coming in?
See, for a lot of our investigations, we used to, in fairness, a lot of the investigations we used to do, it was a case of a lot of windows in Bloody Chapel were blocked up for a very long time, and where they just were unblocked. Like we went up a few months ago and everything had been taken down from all of the windows. So since then, obviously with that, we have to kind of factor in everything. And a lot of what we do when we're getting activity is like spend a lot of time debunking it, and like, how could this happen? Why would that happen? Oh, this wind is coming from here, so that's why that happened. And it's a case of, it's just at the same time as accepting what you're getting, it's a case of like looking and debunking and making sure that you're getting what you're getting and not just expecting it to be right.
True. I know myself there. I suppose I know there's a lot of pigeons there, and I know as pigeons have been associated with cause and infrasound as well there, and going up that flight of stairs with blood pressure, would go up going up that flight of stairs, especially if I forgot something, But, but can you tell us what has been the most, apart from that castle, what has been the most extraordinary situation you've been on, public events, or you're investigating, or away from it yourself? Has there been anything that you felt that has connected you in more the spirit world, or some extraordinary phenomenon has happened? Can you tell us that, Shelley?
Oh, I might have to. Definitely for me. Actually, it involves the Bloody Chapel. Again recently, and where something actually happened to me, and I've just found since that it's like, what would you say? In other words, I'd be a lot more open, in tune almost. I get a lot more activity since this specific happening. So it's a funny story. So I'll let Caoimhe actually tell you, because I have very little recollection of it.
Okay.
So we were all standing in a circle and basically just feeling what was going on, and we were hearing, like, it was almost like mumbling around us, but it was like there was a big party happening around us, where we hear like people from every direction, every part of the castle, like talking and like murmuring and all this. So we're all standing there, and first of all, before anything starts happening, Carlo and Joey, who are standing beside me at this point, just start acting weird. And I'm like looking at them like, what is going on? And it's almost like they're both drunk, and they're both like holding beer glasses. And I'm like looking at them, I don't know what's going on. I'm just like, okay. So I'm standing there and whatever, and then out of nowhere, I look across the circle and Mom is swaying, like swaying, to the point of where I'm like, have you been drinking? What is going on? She ended up having to be taken out of the circle and plonked down to the side, and like the giggles out of her was so funny. Yeah, it was crazy. It was like fun stuff.
So there was some sort of party going on there, But is that similar to you? Is that similar to what you? Is that what you've experienced, Caoimhe? Was that the most extraordinary moment as well?
Oh gosh, no. In all honesty, mine would probably have to be. God, it wouldn't even be. Actually, it was. We were at a private location. We were doing a private event and whatever, like for ourselves. We were in this location, and it was broad daylight outside. We were like, and this is only a few months ago, and we're walking around this place and whatever, and we're all upstairs, and 4 of the team members were in one room, and one of the team members we thought was downstairs. So we were like all walking about and whatever, and we hear this insane crash bang out of nowhere. And we were like, shit, we thought Carlo had gone through the floor or something, because he was the only one who wasn't in the room. So we run out, we're like looking for Carlo, and he's like, I'm here. So we walk down the stairs, and downstairs had been a load of construction and whatever, where they were doing it up previously. And in the middle of downstairs, there had been a load of headboards of beds, about 10 of them, in 2 different piles. And
they were all lying flat on the floor.
They had all been lying flat on the floor, whatever. And when we went back downstairs, the first bunch of headboards were standing up to the point where there was headboards that weren't even touching the ground in the middle, like that they could not have been stood that way.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even know how it happened.
We wouldn't be able to do it. We wouldn't be able to put the headboards together the way they were stacked.
Yeah. So then I pull up, like there was wood underneath these headboards and whatever. So to make the noise again, I pulled up the other set of headboards, and like dropped it. And it was the exact same noise, and none of us were downstairs. And we were just, it was honestly, it was terrifying. It was crazy. We were just like, okay.
It was interesting, all right, yeah.
It's like, John, I know the daytime they can be the most active time of an investigate, or just go walking about there. You know, experience most great stuff there during the daytime. But can you tell us, go back to the Bloody Chapel, what experiments do you find is best to use and do in there? What experiments or what equipment is best to use in that area?
For me personally,
Sorry, Shelley. Sorry.
Either or. I'll let you talk first. For me personally, I love the spirit box up there. I always find we get a little bit more. Well, obviously, you're going to get a little bit more information through the spirit box. But yeah. What do you like?
I personally, for me, I'm very much like, because of the elements and everything, I'm very much like, I go off a lot of feeling while I'm up there. So it's a case of like stand in a circle, like the last public event that we had, all stood in a circle, held hands, and then we hold the skirts around us to raise held hands and them up in the air, hold them there. And it was crazy. And stuck in the air. So just
So can you tell us then what other locations or public, what other places do you do public events in there around Ireland?
We do Cullen Military Museum, Irish Military Museum. It's just at Slane. We do a lot of private locations as well. People that contact us and what's not, or even just for our own personal curiosity.
And is there any? And is sorry there, Quiver. What? That's.
Yes, it's okay.
I was just going to say that. Is there any particular spots in the world you would like to be in the public on there? Any particular location you'd like to be in them on?
Oh yeah. Like, can I go first on this? Oh, for me, years ago I was in Butte in Montana with a very good friend of mine, and we went to visit the Dumas brothel in Butte, and it was pre all of this Zach Baggins and what's not, and the experience that we had when we were there was crazy, and I would absolutely love to go back, because I have recently watched a documentary on the Dumas brothel, and in the act room where they're getting the majority of the happenings coming from now. So for me, Dumas brothel, Butte, Montana.
And how about yourself there, Quiver?
For me, in all honesty, like, it would be a case of I'd love to do either Salem. Salem obviously seems like a very interesting place. Or else we've visited a lot of historic places, and we did a leper colony island off Crete, and I was only a kid, but I felt creeped out by this island that I'd love to go back and spend the night there and do the entire night. It's like as a paranormal investigation. It was crazy.
Well, I'd love to go to those two places with you there, like, if I get the free time there, like, but hopefully I'll catch you up in Ireland as well there. But have you got any?
Absolutely.
What's your plans for the future there? So going into November or the rest of the year.
We have a couple of things coming up in November, but I literally don't have the diary on front of me. Can you think?
I believe we are supposed to be doing a Wicklow Gaol in November.
Yes.
Yeah, at least we have at least one on the books, And then I think we have a possibility of another one. So I'll have to let you know if that happens there. And otherwise, I'd say we won't be too busy over Christmas, but it'll be picked back up in the new year.
In the best.
Back
Yeah.
in the new year,
Need some
when the weather gets better.
Yeah.
Well, can you tell us where people can contact you and get tickets and places like that and things like that? Where can we find Paranormal Adventures Ireland?
If they go onto Facebook, they'll find us there and they can message us, and we do respond within 1 or 2 hours. And on the other side of social media, I will leave it to this one.
We also have a YouTube channel, which is Paranormal Adventures Ireland as well. We have our Instagram. We have a Twitter that we don't use very often, but we're trying.
I know how that feels like team members like that as well. They've got I know. Oh, like go inside.
Yeah. In all honesty, we're the most active on we have TikTok as well, but we're the most active on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and then Twitter and YouTube. We're trying to bring those up to the same speed, I swear.
No, boys. It's all social media anyway. Though it's people know about yourselves there, and if you're interested in folks in going to a pub event, check out Paranormal Adventures Ireland there, and they've got a good few locations to go to there. And thank you again, Shelley and Caoimhe there. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to
And I hope
you.
I hope to see you soon again there. And that's it then, folks. So stay tuned and we'll continue more of the interviews. So bye-bye for now, folks. Bye-bye-bye.
Bye.